We did a little bit of a survey of a number of people today, and I saw a lot of glaring deficiencies that people have. Now, when I talk about it, I say that it's not that you're not getting it done. You are getting it done with what you're wearing. But just as if you came into your physician's office and they said, you know what, how do you feel? I feel fine. Well, your blood pressure is 180 over 100. I don't feel anything. So what I'm here to tell you about is the risk factors that are involved with the feet. And I only have a few minutes. I know you guys got to get on the road and move the metal. So let me tell you a little bit about how I look at the foot. First of all, for the shoe, the foot should fit the shoe should fit the foot. As a general rule, you need a thumbnail width from your longest toe to the end of your shoe. Maybe I can. Maybe I can move this over here a little bit and use these as examples. I don't know if you guys can see it. So a thumbnail width from here to here. Generally, I think you guys and girls have all been well fit there. The other thing is that you should not see your foot through the sides of the shoe. Again, I think you're doing a great job with that. When you look at the materials of the shoe, I understand that you should have a leather that's polishable, a black or a brown, and that's okay. Leather's a great material. Why? Because it simulates skin and the ligaments and the connective tissue within the body. Leather is better than vinyl. The other thing is that the more laces you have, the better you do, because you can cinch up that shoe so it gives you support. What is often missing is that the material, people sometimes miss the strength of the material on the side of the shoe, needs to be solid for you so that when you're walking, your foot doesn't scoot side to side, so you have some motion control. One of the big myths that people think about is thinking that soft is good. Soft is good. And I challenge you, if you think that's the case, I would ask you all to go and see if you can sit or stand on your mattress for just 5 minutes. Just stand there, walk around your mattress for 5 minutes. Soft will work against you because you'll get fatigued. You need something solid. That's why when we have, a race car, the suspensions are solid because we minimize the motion, we minimize the fatigue. In the foot, if we can minimize the motion in the ligaments and the muscles, it's better for us. Now, the bottom of the shoe should have a stiff shank to it. That means there should be you should not be able to flex the shoe in the middle, but it should flex in the toes. You should stay away from steel toes. If you need a steel toe, then get a size longer so that the steel toe goes farther than where your foot would flex. You'll be more comfortable with it. This particular shoe, being a Timberland, this optimizes how a foot should bend or a shoe should bend. It's got a relatively thick midsole here, a little bit of a heel, and also it flexes. This is an excellent boot. In fact, I brought one myself that's 30 years old that I have. Laces up, it's solid on the side. There isn't a steel toe, but it is a leather boot. Also, one thing that shouldn't be missed is that the firmness of the sole. A lot of shoes from the outside look very firm, or they all look the same. But if you can take a shoe and you can take that heel and you can use your thumbs and compress it very easily, maybe a 1/4 inch or so, it's probably too soft. Because if you can do that with your thumb, what do you think your body weight's going to do? What do you think your body weight's going to do when you're carrying a package? When we walk, we put 1.5 times our body weight through our heel at heel strike. When you're running, it's 3 to 5 times. So you guys are probably moving the freight a little bit. So when you're landing, every time that heel hits, it's compressing the sole, this outer material. And when that happens, there's motion. So there's too much rolling that can happen. If you have a shoe that rolls too much, you're on a piece of ground that's uneven, you're carrying a package, you're off balance just a little bit, it's hard to recover. So having a shoe that's firm on the bottom and the outer sole, as well as a steel shank is preferable, particularly if you have any weight, and lace it up snugly. By the way, you should probably have a medium weight sock if you do that. One of the benefits I think many of you have is that you all look in pretty good shape. You're all relatively light folks. You're moving things. But there's 2 things that happens: age and weight. As you advance in your careers, those things are going to happen. And with age, what happens is that we start to break down some of our connective tissue. So what works for us when we're 25 or 35 is different when we're 45 to 55 or older. So you need to pay attention to that. I'm really impressed that we're doing a stretching program before you guys get going. That's important. And I have some comments on that just briefly. I think it's important to stretch quite a bit, particularly lower extremity and your hamstrings and your calves, but also do it after you've been doing the work. Maybe before your lunch period or something, because a muscle stays stretched when it's warm. If you sit down and kind of things will tighten up and firm up a little bit on you, then you're more likely to pull something. So that's a really good program for you. Now, if you think about it, the shoe itself is the foundation. If we build a building, we have to have a foundation. We don't build a building on swampland. We build it on, a firm foundation. Within that foundation, as a podiatrist, we talk about orthotics a lot, because the orthotic is kind of a suspension system within the foot that helps direct the weight. If we're talking about the way that weight lands, as I said, 3 to 5 times your body weight goes through, we really need to be able to kind of take that weight and direct it and let it down easily instead of letting your foot slap. If you have any biomechanical weakness in your foot, meaning that your architecture of your foot is such that it just is compromised, well, you have your body weight, plus you're moving, plus you're carrying things. And all those things put together, stress that foot. You're making 170 to 190 stops a day, I heard nationwide. That's a lot of movement. So I would just encourage you to really pay attention to the shoes and the orthotics within that, because not only is life motion, but it's your livelihood. So a lot of people think they're going to save money by buying some inexpensive shoes or getting some orthotics like Dr. Scholl's or something like that. But you depend on your feet to make a living. And it's really important that you pay attention to those throughout your whole career. And it's important to your company as well, because when you have sick days or you have injury days, you're out. So I think the company, all companies really, need to pay more attention to what people are wearing on their feet and their human capital, and not just the trucks. I'm not critical. Actually, I'm quite impressed with UPS, because I see some of these things that they came up with. But for your industry, it's so important, because you have to move, and that really, everything depends on your foot structure. So with that, I'd entertain some questions. I know you guys got to get on the road here. So if anybody has a question, Pete, I'd be happy to answer.
I just wanted to let everyone know, I appreciate Dr. Lloyd taking the time coming in today, and I want to give him a round of applause. So, if anybody has any questions, see him after the meeting. With that, that's what I got. Be safe.
Thank you.